guys, we found some footage, and it's the Glenarma tapes. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
We found it.
We found it. Another found footage film. Brand new. This is a directorial debut. And so this is about a group of college kids. I think they're college, right? That's what that was. We established that was a college.
Yes.
They're like, they catch some teachers, like having an affair, mm-hmm. and they say that they're gonna go out to the Glenarma forest, right? Glenarma mm-hmm. woods, mm-hmm. something like that. And so they decide, we're gonna follow them, we're gonna film them, we're gonna blackmail them.
Yeah.
It wasn't 100% clear on like what the intention was for their blackmail. I think that definitely could have been handled a little bit better. Like, set it up. Yeah, like they make the male teacher kind of a dick, mm-hmm. and they make the female teacher seem, I don't know. They don't really make her seem all that bad. I don't know. I just feel like they could have set up something here to where, like, I really need to pass, and this, she's not going to pass me.
Some more
and, you know what I mean? Anyways, it is what it is. So they follow them out there, and when they do, they find out that something's going on out there. So now this is like a mockumentary. Mm. This is all like really edited together. And I want to say that this is one of the most well put together mockumentary looking things I've watched. Like, so much so, I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, but so much so that it didn't feel like found footage. Mm. Because the guy who's shooting the found footage in the movie, Jimmy, he's like a film student he's making a documentary. And so he's doing all these like exterior shots, and he's doing these like pickup shots, and he's doing all these like B-roll shots and stuff. But it's all been edited together like it's his film.
Yeah.
Right? So he'll like leave the camera somewhere, and then he'll go over with his friends and do stuff and, you know, whatever. And they just like edited it together without any of that stuff. As to where usually in found footage, we see them like set the camera and walk away and then do the thing and then come back and take it.
We got
you know
one
what I mean?
shot of that.
We do see it sometimes.
Yeah, most of it is already edited together.
The reason I think that was left in there was because that shot was so stylized that it was like it was so breaking of the rules of found footage, right? That it was like it would feel like it was an actual like regular movie for a minute, and it would be like, oh, that breaks found footage, you know what I mean? So they had him like walk over, and it's like they would have edited that out, but I think they left it in there because I even was like, what is this shot?
Yeah,
you know.
Well, and like the kids are theater majors, film majors, and stuff, so they're already working on, like, all of them are working on some project. Yeah. So I like that that's utilized in this. I don't know how I feel about it, like, in terms of, like, the quality of the found footage being the way it is.
It's too good looking.
It kind of is.
It doesn't have...
That's not really my biggest problem with the film, though. Like, I think that would have been fine, but I liked it okay. I wanted to like it more. I did like all the characters. Mm-hmm. I definitely like their performances. Like, I like the core group of kids, for sure. But I think for me, I just found the story to be kind of boring. Like, it was very just... It was a bit dull, I think. Like, what is revealed that is happening in the woods, I thought that was just kind of lame, and I didn't like it. I think probably that it's partly like a budget issue. Like, I think it might have been hard to do something else, but the other thing is that when I think about especially Ireland, I like think about folklore and like going into Irish woods at night. Just to me, I would like much rather have seen something centered around folklore, like Irish folklore, than what we get, which isn't related to that. There is a bit of like occultish stuff happening, but I don't know. It didn't feel very fleshed out to me. Like it just kind of, I don't know. I didn't like the way it felt. I did like that there's like kind of like a conspiracy that's being uncovered. I liked that aspect of it though. I just like what's happening in the woods itself. I didn't find that. I didn't like that. That's all. I guess that's really what it comes down to. And that is like the bulk of the movie is them in the woods. Once we get to like the very third act though, it definitely went in a place that I wasn't expecting. Like I think you even said there's a point where you like think the film is going to end and then it doesn't. There's other things added on because it is a mockumentary. So you get kind of like a wrap up of things. Which, you know, for a mockumentary style, like it works. I don't know. I don't know if I liked it that much, though, I guess. Because, like, the more that I think about it, the more I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel, which is kind of a bad review. But I guess, you know, anytime people go, like, so many of the found footage films we watch, when people go into the woods, like, you can't help but compare it to the Blair Witch Project a little bit. And I try not to do that, but it is hard because it is such a, like, fantastic example, like, the best example of found footage, and especially in the woods. So I don't know, what did you think?
I was actually really into this for the first bit until they get to the woods. So I really liked the dynamic between the friends. I thought that was very authentic. I thought all of them were really good in front of and behind the camera. They felt like actual friends. They felt like actual people. So I thought all of that stuff was handled very well. I'm not really complaining about the quality of how things look. It was different, which isn't a bad thing. It just took, I was taken aback by it just because of the fact that most found footage looks like shit. And this was shot so well that it was like, oh, wow, I don't know if I've seen found footage shot this well. But that's not 100% accurate because we just watched The Visit again, and that's wonderfully shot.
Yeah.
So anyway, once we get into the woods, I actually heavily disagree with you on this, like, budgetary issue because I thought that we went way too big with what's going on in the woods. It takes all of the tension out of it because it almost becomes like a nonstop action movie once they get out into the woods. And there's like no tension anymore because there's no, like, it doesn't feel like they're being stalked. It just goes from one scene to the next of them encountering something and fighting against it, but it's done in a way that is not thrilling or interesting, and it just becomes boring. And you're like, okay.
I was.
So the way that could have played out with what they find could have been very scary. I mean, look at how it's handled in The Empty Man, right? He catches them, circling a fire, and then something happens and he looks over and they're all looking at him and they run at him. That's like legitimately one of the scariest things I've ever watched in my entire life. And that's hundreds of cult members, right? So it's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but for some reason, it's how overboard it goes. It doesn't, and it's not interesting. You can go completely overboard and it still be nuts and entertaining. But for some reason, I found everything that happened in the woods once they like find the cult to be extremely repetitive and uninteresting.
Yeah, I think you said it well, where it feels like an action movie, but it doesn't have the tension that you would want for people being stalked in the woods. And I do, even though we spend most of the time there, it also feels like it goes by, I don't know if we spend most of the time there, but it feels like it goes by really fast. And what I was
Probably
mostly
half.
meaning was like because it's not really supernatural anything that's happening, and I was talking about folklore. I was kind of thinking that it would be a higher budget to do maybe practical effects or something if that was a direction that they took it in. That's what I was kind of meaning. But yeah, I didn't like anything with the cult. I found that all to be really like lame.
But with everything
Which
that they
sucks.
stumble upon and the amount of people and the, like little locations and stuff, like that's a big thing. So
Sure.
like they had some bit of a budget to do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do a fucking, what you wanted, obviously.
No, that was just like my expectations. So that doesn't really have anything to do with the film itself. That's just kind of like what. Once I found out what it was, I was a bit disappointed because I was hoping it would be what I was hoping it would be, which is fine. But
Right, but we got to judge it for what it is.
yeah, and for
that's
what it
I
is,
don't like.
I didn't like that. I think that there should have been more time spent building the tension and having like people be hiding and being discovered and almost discovered, and I feel like we don't get any of that. So yeah, I didn't like it. Didn't like any of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's basically all I got to say on it. I think for found footage enthusiasts who want to see them all, this isn't bad. I just didn't particularly love it. I think that there's
bad.
a lot of potential here. I think that the director does have talent. I think that this is very well shot, and I think the actors do a fantastic job up until they get to that place. And even when it's the stuff that I don't like, I think the actors are still good.
Yeah,
I'm just not enjoying it. So I think you have a lot of talent on display here. And for us, the climax just didn't land. And I feel like if it had, and I feel like with what you set up, it could have been terrifying. Stumbling into a cult in the woods, that writes itself. It's horrifying. And you're being stalked and hunted. And just like, while that does happen, I don't know. There's zero tension to it. So anyway, that's that. Let us know if you watch it. And we'll see you in the comments.
Bye.